Well, hey, welcome back. Today I want to talk about something that's very interesting. I want to talk about one important thing that you need to do if you're looking to pursue a sports broadcasting career. This is a very important, crucial piece of your journey, and I want to talk about it today. But first, if we've never met, my name is Rick. Thanks for joining the Sportscasters Club program. Please be sure to like this program. Please be sure to subscribe so you can get all of our videos. And today we're going to talk about the one thing that you need to do if you want to be a sports broadcaster. And this is particularly aimed at people early in their career. But if you're just a sports fan and you're curious, I think you'll find it interesting also. And I'm going to start with a story, actually 3 quick stories, because they're going to tie into what I'm talking about today. The first story, I remember when I started my professional baseball broadcasting career, working for a minor league team. The team already had a number one broadcaster. I was just an 18-year-old kid. And fortunately, the number one broadcaster, Bill, we became friends. And I was writing for a sports newspaper at the time. We became friends. I was actually selling programs at the ballpark, but I wanted to jump into sports broadcasting and make that my career. And again, I was only 18. But Bill and I became friends, and he allowed me to start working on the broadcast, doing post-game interviews for a professional minor league team. One thing led to another. And by the middle of that first season, I was 18 years old, I was actually going on the air. And then I started going with the team on road trips. Now, here's the part of the story I want to tell you. I used to drive my own car to some of those games. And then the manager of the team one day said, well, why don't you drive on the bus with us? You don't have to drive your own car. And I said, well, if I can. And he said, you're part of this team, aren't you? That was really cool. So I would jump on the team bus. And when the team was playing on the road, the second half of that season, I lugged along a sleeping bag and I slept on the floor in the hotel room that the number one broadcaster, Bill, shared with the bus driver. I would sleep on the floor in some of the most dingy hotels and motels you've ever seen. And I would unroll my sleeping bag and sleep there just so I could do the games. Second story I want to tell you. This is going to be a quick one as well. Christmas, it must have been the year 1994, 1995. Christmas morning, I get a phone call. A friend of a friend who worked for NBC Productions, the NFL Productions down in New York City. He said, listen, we're shorthanded. We really need somebody that can come in and do stats in the NFL department today. Can you get yourself down to New York City in a few hours and stay the entire day? This was completely unplanned, completely unexpected. My butt was on a train just a short while longer. I took the train down to New York City, and that was the first of many days I worked for the NFL on NBC and then ABC while I was in college. And that lasted a few years. That's the second story. Third story, probably 1997. I was broadcasting high school basketball and football games. My partner was Kevin Burkhart. We worked in northern New Jersey, mainly broadcasting high school games of the week. And I remember traveling on a Thanksgiving morning. It was cold, probably 39 degrees, blustery. All my friends were going to their Thanksgiving parties with their families. I said, nope, I have a game to do. We're going to broadcast it down in New Jersey. And they couldn't believe it. So those are 3 stories that I tell you because they all tie into the one thing that you need if you're going to be a sports broadcaster, especially if you're just starting your career. And you need the ability and the desire to work for free and to pay your dues and to deal with hardships that other broadcasters may not want to deal with, certainly as you get older. And that's very important because you will find opportunities early in your career. You'll find opportunities if you just reach out and take them where others might not. So I certainly know that I had friends in the media industry that wouldn't drop everything and travel down to New York, but that led to 3 great years working for NBC and then ABC, And it was great on my resume. I learned a ton, met some wonderful people, and it looked great on my resume because I was willing to do it. Same thing with broadcasting a game on a Thanksgiving morning when a lot of my friends or family were gathered together having turkey and watching the NFL on TV. I was willing to work that day. Now, if you ask me about those things today, heck no, I'm not going to do that. Now that I have kids, I'm not going to spend a Thanksgiving working a game. I'm not going to leave on Christmas. Now that I have kids, I have a girlfriend, those things are more important to me than broadcasting. Same thing with sleeping on the floor. I'm not saying I need a great luxury suite and wonderful accommodations, but these days I'm not going to sleep on the floor. My back can't handle it, and there are just some things in life that are more important, certainly at my stage of my life and my career. But at the beginning, I did. I drove myself. I slept on the floor. In fact, I didn't get paid for, I think, the first 2 seasons broadcasting professional baseball because they already had a number one broadcaster. They weren't going to pay someone else. It wasn't in the budget. But it gave me that experience. It gave me that knowledge. It gave me a start. And those are the things that you need to be willing to do early in your career, especially at the beginning.
When you're done with this episode, or even if you want to open your browser now, you can go deeper and learn the secrets of sports broadcasting. Search our full list of books at sportscastersclub.com, available from Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and Audible format.
So if you don't have that, then you're going to have a tough road. And even some of the students that I worked with at Fordham University, when I was the sports director there in 2017, I saw the same exact things they had to do. They had to broadcast for a minor league team that wasn't in a populated area. They had to move. They had to deal with not getting paid a lot. They had to sacrifice, and it's helped them now, 5, 6, 7 years later, because they have it on the resume, they got the experience, and most importantly, they made connections with people. And that's how you build your career. So I hope those stories give you an idea about some of the things that you might have to do. And honestly, it's not about having to do it. I loved doing it at that time. As an 18-year-old, I was young, single, no attachments, no kids. I would do anything to broadcast, whether it was professional baseball, which was really my favorite, but also when I started to get paid in professional baseball and then became the number one broadcaster eventually, I would have done anything to do it. In fact, I did. I worked overnight sometimes to make some money so I could broadcast. Or on off days, I cleaned toilets, I cleaned office buildings. And so you've got to be willing to do that kind of a thing if you want to build a career. And it'll really test your desire. I think that's also an important part. Because if you're not willing to do those things to build a career, then maybe you'll think twice about if this is the career path you want to pursue. In another example, when I was broadcasting for Army basketball and hockey and working on the football broadcasts, that was seasonal. That was during the season. So then in the off season, I had to work construction. I substitute taught. I did so many different things, and I'm not alone. So many of the broadcasters that I know that are now premier broadcasters, they did the same thing. They put things together throughout the year so they could build a career. They did this during the winter so they could broadcast baseball in the summer. Or they did this in the summer so they could broadcast college basketball or college football in the fall and the winter. And so you've got to be willing to do those things. Some people just aren't. Some people want to graduate college and have a 6-figure career from day one with benefits, with health insurance, with 401k and all that stuff, which for many people does not come at the beginning of a broadcasting career. And so if it's not right or wrong, but if those things are more important to you, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be, but if they are, you may need to reconsider. And you also may need to understand just how fortunate you are if you find a career in sports journalism or media that combines all of it. So I just wanted to share those stories about what I did and what other broadcasters do at the beginning of their career to let you know what to expect, number one, and also to test truly how dedicated you are and how focused you are and how determined you are to fight through those early years to get to a career that's fulfilling and eventually profitable and financially rewarding as well. So if you have any questions, leave them in the chat. I check the chat all the time. Again, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like this video. And again, my name is Rick, and I'll see you next time.